and that is for a while now. Eric Rowan has actually been doing videos, and he's been taking pictures of himself in the sheep mask, and also talking seemingly with a lady in the same sheep mask. Could this possibly be the Sister Abigail that everybody's been talking about, or could this just be a valet for Eric Rowan?
I don't know. I'm not sure if there is going to be a Sister Abigail. I know there's rumors about it, but I think people are maybe just overlooking the fact that it might just be a female Wyatt member. It doesn't necessarily have to be Sister Abigail. It could just be a female Wyatt member.
Okay, I could probably see that happening. I mean, I think it'd be interesting to see a female Wyatt member than, a little kid playing a Wyatt family member. Because, well, okay, in all fairness, when that happened at Extreme Rules between Cena and Bray, oh my gosh, that was actually pretty creepy.
Yeah.
And of course, we have to talk about the Raw where all those kids were surrounding the ring, and then they appear in sheep masks. I'm like, okay, this is actually the most uncomfortable I felt on a Monday Night Raw. And not for like a really weird kind of way, but more of like this is actually a fucking awesome moment kind of way.
Oh, they had that, Cena and Wyatt had that cage match, and Cena was about to go out, and the lights went out, and the lights go back on, and the ring is completely surrounded by children in sheep masks and, like, black robes, and the ones, like, they're all singing, and that was really creepy, too, but
it is going to be very interesting to see what they have planned for the Wyatt family. We go on to the main event matchup, which was Mickie James versus Alexa Bliss for the Women's Championship inside a steel cage. All honesty to you guys, it was a good cage match. Do I think that it could top the Lita Victoria steel cage match that happened in 2003? Sadly, no. But it did have quite a bit of a shocker in the end. While La Luchadora came in, hits a spin kick on Mickie. Jeez, I just spoiled it. I mean, on Becky, jeez Louise. And then Alexa hits the DDT for the 1-2-3. La Luchadora loses her mask, and it's revealed to be Mickie James. Still one of the most shocking moments I could think about on SmackDown.
You spoiled that whole thing. You were saying Mickie James from the start, and I was like, I don't think the match was Mickie James and Alexa Bliss. Becky Lynch, but
they have a Wyatt sounding name at the end. Mickey, Becky. Can you really blame me though? It's one of those things where it's like it happened. Okay, I'm going with it. But
no, it's pretty shocking. Happy for Mickie James. I've always been a fan of hers. I know I'm going to say this just in case Chris ever listens to this, because every time we talk about Mickie James, I bring up Arby's. So yeah, there you go, Chris. Mickie James, the Arby's of the WWE. And if nobody gets that reference, well, maybe do some research and you'll figure it out.
Oh, gosh, now I remember.
Yeah, the roast beef.
Yeah, oh, God.
Anyways, yeah, good for her. Super happy. I heard she was coming back. I'm glad she went to SmackDown. I feel like Raw's women's division is really, really coming together and is really, really strong, I think. Possibly maybe a little bit stronger than SmackDown, but with Mickie James on there to, being a veteran, I feel like, like her and like Natalia and probably Nikki Bella can really bring in that women's division on SmackDown and get some substance in it and get that shit going pretty good.
Well, here's to hoping. All right, so we move on from SmackDown to NXT. It was a very eventful night for Sanity. First of all, Nikki Cross picking up a victory over, I'm trying to remember what her name was. It was Kennedy Clark, I thought her name was. But let me just state the obvious right here. The size difference between these two competitors was just, it was mind-blowing. Because Nikki Cross is kind of a little bit of a smaller competitor, and Kennedy was, I would say, 6'3", maybe. So I'm just looking at this and I'm thinking, what the fuck just happened here? Because this little pint-sized munchkin is just beating up somebody who's probably as tall as an Eva Marie or something like that, and she just beats her like nothing. I'm like, okay, am I in like the Twilight Zone? What the fuck? I mean, I'm totally okay that Nikki got the win, but still.
Alexa Bliss standing next to Charlotte.
Basically, yeah, it was crazy. But definitely she's getting some momentum going into the Fatal 4-Way women's match at NXT TakeOver San Antonio. So great to see that. But also, we saw Ty Dillinger come out talking about, what's going to go on with his career. And then Sandy comes out and says, hey, we want you to be a part of our, gang, our stable. And basically it went down to Eric Young about to present the jacket. And he says, I'm not asking, I'm telling. And he gives the jacket to Ty Dillinger, who basically just drops it in front of him and does the whole, perfect 10 taunt. Beats down on Sanity until Damo came in, beats down Ty Dillinger, and then he is basically brought in as the final member for Sanity to take over the injured. Oh man, I'm trying to remember. Do you remember the name of the guy who got injured in Sanity?
Top of my head, no, I don't.
Okay.
To be honest, I've kind of fallen behind on NXT, just like with school and everything else that's been going on. It's kind of just been one of those things where I'm like, well, it's on the network, I can go back and watch it whenever.
Well, that was kind of basically what you missed on, was that Sandy got big demo from WCPW and from the European independent scene being a part of Sanity, and geez, that's a big acquisition right there. And I don't mean just literally, I mean also metaphorically. He is going to be a very dominant force in NXT. The other thing that happened was TM61 picked up an upset victory on the Revival, and Revival didn't take that so well. They decided to beat down both members, and then they hit their leg breaking tag team move that they like to do so much, which I think is always sick anytime that they do it. I do believe that they're going to continue doing this rivalry. My prediction with this is that it's going to go all the way until NXT TakeOver, more than likely Orlando, and then they're probably going to have the Revival get called up, and I'm hoping it's going to be up to SmackDown for the sole reason that they do American Alpha versus Revival again. I would love to see that rivalry in a heartbeat.
I was actually reading about that, and one of the guys from TM61 just got hurt not too long ago. I think he blew his knee out or something.
That's right. I remember that now.
So they're going to be out of the picture for a while, and because of that, I think they're talking about Revival might actually stay down in NXT a little bit longer now, because there's kind of a question of where do they go. Both Raw and SmackDown kind of have stacked tag team divisions right now, and they're kind of worried that maybe Revival will kind of just, fall off to the side or something, but
I have high doubts about that. I think the Revival is just...
Also just because of the fact that NXT's got to be careful with how they bring people up to the main roster. And, me and Chris have talked about this, a lot, how... Look at what happened to NXT after WrestleMania, like last year, and just over the course of the entire, basically, last year. You have all these people. You got Charlotte, Sasha, Becky, Bayley, Finn Balor, American Alpha, Enzo and Cass, Apollo Crews, Baron Corbin. All those guys get called up. You basically, the men's division is pretty stacked. You still got Austin Aries. I know he's injured right now, but you still got Bobby Roode, Nakamura, Samoa Joe. I believe he's coming up. I think he's all but a lock in at the Rumble, from what I heard. their women's division, basically, you got Asuka, and then a bunch of chicks who she's already beat the holy hell out of, other than Ember Moon, I think. So I think that's another reason why Revival might stay down there a little bit longer, because you take them away from their tag team division, and what do you got? You got DIY, TM61, which is hurt right now, and you got Authors of Pain.
Yeah.
I can't think of anybody else for tag teams down there. But if you take you got one team that's injured, you take one off, you got two tag teams left.
Yeah.
So I would count on Revival staying down there a little bit longer until they can figure out that tag team division.
Yeah, that's why I had it going till about WrestleMania time, because by then they'll at least have, at least I think about like 3 months to at least find other tag teams to either call up or to actually form, because I'm sure that there's probably quite a few people that they could just, pair up. Like I think maybe Steve Cutler and Oney Lorcan, maybe they could be a team. There's a lot of people that they have down there they could probably pair up, because I mean, you name one, DIY. They were basically major singles competitor, Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano, and they turned out to be one of the most one of probably the best teams that NXT has to offer, and it's just amazing how far they come.
I mean, I'm definitely stoked. I am pumped. I know Chris is as well. Chris is super high on the Revival right now. We were just talking about yesterday how Revival and the Young Bucks right now are probably the top two tag teams on the face of the planet right now. And I would have to agree with that. I can't think of a bad match I've seen the Revival in, and the Young Bucks are just the Young Bucks, so,
Well, interestingly, you brought up the Young Bucks. This is going just a little bit off topic, but I don't know if you've heard in recent stories that the Broken Hardys actually made a challenge to all the major tag team champions of I guess they could say of the universe, being American Alpha, Sheamus and Cesaro, and the Young Bucks. And the reply that the Young Bucks gave to the Broken Hardys, I honestly looked at that and I thought, wow, there's a reason why these guys are over so much. It's not just because they do Super Kick City all the time. That was just a vicious promo.
We talked about that on the podcast yesterday, too. They're going to I believe they're doing it the night before WrestleMania at, what's the name of the show? I can't remember. It was like something for Honor, the Ring of Honor show. They're doing it April 2nd, which is, I believe that NXT TakeOver, is that in San Antonio they're doing it?
No, that's NXT TakeOver Orlando.
Oh, Orlando, okay. I thought they were doing one before the Rumble.
The one before the Rumble, that's San Antonio.
Right, yeah. Sorry, brain fart. Yeah, so that would be Orlando the same night on the 2nd. That's awesome. I watched the video of their response. They said they would do it anywhere, NXT, WWE, New Japan, Ring of Honor, Impact. And in my mind, I was like, they would do it Ring of Honor.
Well, you never really know. I mean, they even threw out, 205 Live, and then I think it was Nick just looked at him like, dude, okay, maybe not 205 Live, but still, we could go anywhere.
Yeah.
So a little bit of a shot at 205 Live, so take note, WWE. We'll conclude the NXT recap with the contract signing between Bobby Roode and Shinsuke Nakamura. Oh, boy. I honestly am just looking forward to seeing what they do with entrances with the NXT TakeOver deals, because they always make Nakamura's and Bobby Roode's probably the best entrances, and for good reason, because
those were our top two entrances of the year. Nakamura's with the one guy playing the violin. The guy that actually played the violin, not the 57 violin.